Hello guys, welcome back to Super Guy Boy Show, and today we're going to review the new MGK album, Mainstream Sellout. So before I get into the review, let me just explain this. This review is not about MGK. I'm not reviewing MGK as a person, I am reviewing the album. If there are things that I don't like about this album, it's not towards the artist who made it. It's about the album. I just thought I should just get that out of the way because there have been album reviews that I've seen online towards this thing that has negative things that is mostly coming from a place of hatred towards this person. So I just thought I should get that out of the way in case if someone gets mad about an opinion I have to say and just think that it's just coming from a place of hatred towards the artist. No, it's really just whatever. And I hope that, I'm just coming in reviewing the album. I have nothing, no perception on MGK really. And I just want to come and just say that I'm reviewing this album and nothing more. So really, I didn't really care about MGK coming to this album. I never really been an MGK fan. I never really listened to his music. The first time I heard him was like towards the whole diss tracks and beef thing with Eminem, and even then I forgot about him until he got popular off of Tickets to My Downfall, which again, I still didn't really care about him. It wasn't really till I heard this weird buzz about this album, both negative and positive in a way. From what I saw, this album was going to be this crazy thing where everybody has to listen to it, even if you might like it or not. And just hearing from the single Emo Girl, I just still didn't care about it, but I still wanted to check it out just out of curiosity and just, as a music reviewer, I'm wondering what all the hoopla is like all about. And I gotta say, I'm both impressed and not. I am impressed that this album has built so much for itself. However, I am not impressed with the music side of things because this album just runs like deja vu where you keep getting reminded of the same forgettable song. And the album, for the most part, has some of the most mind-numbing music out there so far. Like, at least from the albums I didn't really like, at least some of them had a standout quality to them, because for the most part, other than the lyrics and themes, which is I will get to in a minute, most of the music on here just sounds like digitized rock computer paper, because MGK drags these songs down with terrible lyrics or just terrible vocals. Throughout this whole album, the lyrics always seem to be in this comatose state where MGK will go off these like vague lyrics about his relationship, his fame, his addiction, or suicide, but then put these offhand references about his father. And look, I have no issue if MGK wants to talk about this. It's just that the way he puts them, they don't have that much substance other than the surface level he puts them in. Look at the track Paper Cuts. This song could have had potential being a decent track. There are lines about his relationship, his mental health, and his dead father, but instead he puts them in a way that comes off so juvenile. Sleeping in, fake sick, smoked a blunt, as a kid, don't belong, I'm a punk, hello world, you fucking suck. Everybody's so nice lately, everybody's not so nice, polarized feelings. I don't wear them on my face lately, I don't wear them on my face. Internalize everything the headlights send lately. Demonized just because I was an angel face, baby. In the third verse, which comes off so blunt and surface level, it really does distract you from what he does say, including the lyrics about him being a genius and how he could have made Donda, but instead the song is about his dead father, which, by the way, in case you're wondering, this is the only line that references his father throughout this entire song. And there are little offhand references, but just this line particularly just comes out so forced. It just feels like MGK throws these themes of suicide and depression just for the people who aren't really listening to this album to hear a certain word and just go like,
wow, someone died? No way. You have depression? Oh, man.
This whole song just generally comes off like an act, a very uninteresting act that I just don't want to ever be by. Sid and Nancy was another standout track only because how much this track really pissed me off at this point of the album, where MGK is in this MTV-styled relationship where he and this girl have fallen in love and decided to commit suicide. And I know someone's going to type how I'm being insensitive to the subject of the song, but it's not even that. It's really the way he presents the topics here. He presents them like if it's some shitty episode off of like some crappy reality show. It portrays it so over the top, especially with the gunshot sound effect at the end of the track. It comes off so corny. And really, the story here on this track isn't captivating or interesting or emotional, or if it was trying to be over the top like a Danny Brown where it makes you think for a moment, it's not even that. The story here instead reads off like an episode of This Is Mike Spud, Who really wants to listen to this? These aren't even the only tracks here where the concept just comes off so laughable. Emo Girl, Drug Dealer, World War IV, the title track. In fact, let me get on the title track for a moment, which I think is possibly the worst song in this album, where MGK is having a complete hissy fit about how people don't like the fact that he switched genres and has so many haters that hate on him. And look, I know that MGK has haters, and I think that does suck how, how you're gonna create music and people are just gonna blindly hate on you. But I'm just saying, as advice to MGK, if you're making money and like lots of numbers off of your last album, including this album, like why get angry over this? If you're making numbers off of like generic computer paper music, then hats off to you, man. Why spend so much time on haters? And if you are gonna spend so much time having a hissy fit about your haters, do it in a way that's interesting. But he doesn't even do that. Instead, it just feels like when he tries to come off like this I don't care, it just comes off so corny, especially the persona that he betrays. He betrays as this rebel or punk, and it just comes off like a joke, and it really does ruin the little potential this album has. Because when MGK is not talking about his haters or himself personally and talks about how he's in a relationship with a person who loves to do drugs or is in love with an emo girl, or again the track World War IV, like this song honestly could have not been here. This track just runs like a 12-year-old's first rap song where he's screaming over stupid shit and how he's gonna pull up his middle fingers to the haters, or how teachers are full of shit and don't go to school. And like, wow, you're really saying some real rebellious shit. And but I will say this, I think when this album is getting definitely better is when MGK is doing some simple pop tracks. Take the track A, or Fake Love Don't Last. The choruses on here are catchy, and they have a pretty simple but pretty nice beat to it, especially A. And I do like the hook of I don't wanna fall when I'm this high. Or the track Fake Love Don't Last, where I think that this instrumental is probably the best one out of this entire album. The instrumental, compared to the other rock ones, doesn't sound completely digitized. Actually has a lot more flavor to it. And probably another track that I did enjoy was probably the last track. The only track where MGK does get personal and it doesn't come off corny. My only issue with this track is that it has this bridge and then it just kind of fades out before this random, like, abrupt drums and just hard, distorted, noisy guitars start playing before it just completely abruptly ends. I wish that this outro had more of a better ending to it instead of the one that actually did happen. But I still feel like that this last track was a little bit more better than the other ones on here. I feel like when this album is at its best is when MGK is not trying to do this stupid persona and these over-the-top concepts that really come off very awkward, especially with the tracks about suicide or relationships that honestly, like, I just don't care about. When this album isn't doing that and it's just doing simple pop punk tracks, it's great. I do love I do like the track Fake Love Don't Last, and especially the last track I do like quite a bit. But I feel like that these tracks, while I do really like, I don't think they really pass more than the decent mark, because MGK cannot really put songs that well together, especially with his vocals being either subpar or very below subpar. He comes off like a half-brain Frankenstein all over these tracks. And look, I know that really this whole album is really going to stir up a lot of conversation, especially this review right here. A lot of people are probably gonna get angry, but I'm just sorry. I don't hate this album compared to other people that really just don't like it. I don't think it's one of the worst albums to ever be released. I've heard definitely worse, but I feel like that this album, honestly, is just very mind-numbing, and I don't really see myself ever coming back to this album. I'm feeling a 4 out of 10, closer to a 3 than a 5, and hopefully y'all enjoyed this album review, and yeah, see ya.